Hey, Lux ladies, how are you? It's Leanne here. Um, I'm super excited today. I want to introduce you to Michael DeLon. He is the paperback expert, and today he's going to talk to us about how to raise your credibility and also how to write that book without having to write a word. So, Michael, welcome. So excited for you
Leanne,
to be here.
I am so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. It's going to be a great, great conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, why don't you give us a little bit of background? How did you get started with all of this?
It's a great story, Leanne. This all started on the day that I escaped prison.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Now it wasn't a literal prison. Okay. This was an emotional prison that I was in because I was in a job that I hated.
Mm,
Okay. So I'll give you the long story in a shortened version. My wife and I were married in 1990.
mhm.
Okay. And first 5 years of our marriage were like this because we're complete opposites. And even though she and I both grew up in church, nobody ever taught us how to be married. And
Right.
so we struggled in the first 5 years of our marriage until we went to a family life marriage conference. Family life's a ministry out of kind of a part of Campus Crusade for Christ. We went to a weekend marriage conference and they shared with us God's blueprints for marriage. I didn't know we had blueprints. And so we found these blueprints. We started working on our marriage, started supporting that ministry and people on staff. Our marriage got better. And I was working in Christian radio at the time.
Mhm.
And I learned early on people didn't want to buy Christian radio land. They wanted to sell their products and services. So I had to make a choice. I was either going to get really good at selling or really good at marketing. So I chose marketing. I bought the books. I went to the conferences. I followed the gurus and I learned how to do marketing for small business owners. So my business would grow, my client's business would grow, and everybody was happy. Well, that lasted until about 2000. And God led us out of the radio station to a startup.com right when Amazon was getting started. You remember William Shatner on the radio talking about the world's largest bookstore?
Yeah.
That's when I was in the .com world and selling banner ads and stuff to car dealerships and things. That lasted 2 years because that company was ahead of their time. That means
Okay.
they went bankrupt. And so I found myself in my living room one day looking up at the ceiling going, God, what am I going to do now? And he said, Michael, I want you in a ministry to marriages and I want you at family life. And that was that ministry that changed our life. I said, I should have thought of that. So now that it's a missionary organization, so we had to raise our own support. So it took us 2 years to do that. Then we moved from Indiana down to Little Rock, Arkansas,
Mhm.
served in their radio department. And that was my background. And that made perfect sense. And so I thought this was going to be the last job I'd ever have, Leanne. I mean, why would I ever do anything else? Well,
Right.
I climbed the corporate ladder. And after about 6 years, I was on the leadership team of the ministry. That's when they started going through corporate reorganizations, right?
Mhm.
Shuffling everything around. Well, after the third reorg, they rolled out the new org chart, and my name was no longer on the leadership team.
Uh-oh.
Hence, that began 2 years of them moving me around the ministry to do different things. And that was my 2 year prison term because I was in a job that I just hated. I'd go home every night drained. And so after 2 years, I finally looked at Joe and I said, I got to get out of this thing. And I prayed. And I said, God, what can I do? And he's like, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go help small business owners with marketing because they struggle with it. They hate it. I
Yeah.
love it. And he said, go. So on January 1st, 2013, I escaped prison and I started a marketing consulting firm here in Little Rock. I had one client. I helped him break through some barriers. He would refer me to you, Leanne. I'd
Mhm.
call you and say, Leanne, I think I can help you grow your business. You'd meet with me. We'd have a great conversation. Somewhere in that talk, you'd say, now, Michael, what have you done in the last few years? I said, well, I've helped build marriages and families at Family Life. And you'd say, Michael, that's so good. Thank you. Way to go. Oh, look at the time. I've got another meeting coming up. Let's keep this conversation going. And you'd usher me out the door. Well, that wasn't good. I wasn't getting any clients. I was living on savings and I knew I had to fix it. So I went to my church, second floor. I was pacing the hallway one day. I was praying, said, God, how do I help Leanne? Because I know that I can. And he laid it on my heart. He said, why don't you put all your marketing ideas into a book? So I did. I wrote my first book. It's called On Marketing. Then I would call you, Leanne, and schedule a meeting with you. I'd mail a copy of my book to you. And a week later, I'd walk into your office for our appointment. And there it was.
Mhm.
My book was on your desk, dog eared, highlighted, underlined. You'd read my book. And in that meeting, you'd say, now, Michael, in your book, you said, how do you help me do that? And you'd hire me. And the next person hired me, and the next person hired me. Now, let me ask you a question, Leanne. It's the only trick question of the day. Okay. What changed between those two meetings? Did my background in marketing and advertising, all that change? No. Did my
No,
background in ministry change?
no.
No. You know what changed is how you thought of me. When
Yes.
you got a copy of my book, I instantly became an expert in your mind, and you were willing, with pen in hand, to take down the solution I had for you. Leanne, that changed everything in my business and life, and that was the seed that got planted that has now grown into Paperback Expert, where today I get to work with business owners to help them create their book without writing a word,
Mhm.
and then teach them how to use that book to gain clients, get referrals, and grow their revenue. Whew. That was a long story, but that gives you the background of how in the world did I get here?
No, I mean, that's a phenomenal story. So, maybe, tell me and tell the Lux ladies, why is it really important to have that credibility?
Yeah, credibility differentiates you because marketing effects happen in the mind of your audience. Okay,
Mhm,
that's where things happen. So, okay, another trick question, I guess. I didn't know this was coming. So, Leanne, if I asked you to name a company, okay, and I said, what company comes to mind when you think of overnight package delivery? Who comes to mind?
uh, Amazon,
And,
FedEx.
oh, that yeah. See, all right, there you go. Amazon's getting there because they're everywhere now, right? But you said it, FedEx, because years ago they planted that word overnight in our mind, right?
Mhm,
Credibility, and they delivered because when it absolutely positively had to be there overnight.
right.
Domino's has done the same thing with pizza delivery, right?
Mhm,
Guaranteed 30 minutes or less. Right? And they make sure they do it so they build credibility. What happens is we've heard for years, know, like, and trust. You got to know, like, and trust.
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
tired of that phrase because
Me too.
everybody uses it, but nobody knows what it means. And really, credibility is how people think of you. And being an author is a
Mhm,
great way to build credibility. There are other ways. You can have your own podcast. You can have a video series. You can be on TV. You can have third party credentials, as seen on ABC, NBC, Fox, right?
mhm,
It's what your audience sees and thinks of when they see your name, your
mhm,
brand, your message. It's what resonates in their heart, really, to say, is this somebody I can trust? Do I have confidence
mhm.
in this person? And
Right.
and the challenge is most business owners today, Leanne, are what I call coffee beans. Okay. I love coffee. I'm a coffee drinker. But if you take coffee beans, a bag of beans, and you pour them out on your desk, right?
Mhm.
And you smell them, they all look the same and they all smell the same.
Yeah.
And in business, if you look like and sound like everybody else, you're giving me no reason to choose you.
Mhm,
So when you have credibility, and through a book, in my opinion, right? What it does is it reverses the polarity of your marketing.
mhm,
So instead of you chasing after prospects and leads, trying to, almost begging them to meet with you, you reverse it and they start coming to you because they see you as a credible expert who is trustworthy, somebody who's going to deliver information
mhm.
and wait for them to be ready to engage with you. That's a big point that a lot of people aren't doing today. And
Absolutely.
and I see websites. One of the biggest negatives I see on most websites is the call to action.
Mhm,
Most websites, the call to action is schedule a call with me now.
mhm,
And I'm here to tell you I'm not ready to do that. I'm researching. I'm trying to figure out who you are and what do you have, and are you even a good fit for me? I want a free download of your book. I want a video series. I want a podcast. I want to research you before I'm ready to book that call.
mhm,
Okay. But most calls to actions are schedule a call with me today. Here's my calendar link. It should always be there, right? Because there's probably 2 or 3% of the people in the market today for your business. But there's probably like 95% of the people who are going to be in the market in the next 3 months, 3 years.
Yeah.
Are you going to be in touch with them through that whole process so that you're the first one they think of
Mhm.
and the one they feel the best about?
Right.
Because we all make decisions emotionally. So I don't
Mhm.
know if I answered that question, but that all of that is how we approach credibility marketing. It's a whole lot more than just having your book.
Right.
That's a key factor, but there's so many other components. It's how anyway, I could go on for hours. I'll be honest.
No, this is really great information, and particularly for individuals and in this audience, women that are in the financial industry, because there are so many different financial advisors out there. There's insurance agents, investment advisors, accountants, and mortgage brokers, and so on.
Keep going. I got to grab
Oh,
a book. Okay, I just don't go anywhere.
okay.
Pause. Okay, you just said something. Yeah, keep going. Yeah,
Okay. So there are so many of those types of advisors out there that potential clients have a choice of working with. And so it's super, super important for us as advisors to differentiate ourselves from everyone else. What
absolutely.
is your client or that lead or prospect? Why are they going to choose you versus the person that's in the office, down the hall? So the credibility piece that you're talking about is really, really important. Um,
It is. It is. And I was looking for a book. Oh, I just found it. Hang on. Because it ties in exactly what you're saying, okay? Females, financial advisor. Now this works with any industry, right?
mhm,
Okay, let me tell you a story real quick. Roz came to me. Roz is a female financial advisor in the
mhm,
Chicago area. When she came to me, she was a coffee bean. Okay? She was just like everybody else, bland. And we knew we wanted to separate her because that's a real competitive market. Okay, Chicago. And we said, okay, how are we going to do this? So what we always do is we have a process to get your brand strategies, what we call it. It's your unique signature message. Okay.
mhm.
So we asked Roz our 8 questions and she answered them. And we found out that Roz's childhood was replete with gambling.
Wow.
Okay. It wasn't her, it was her parents.
Mhm.
They'd fly to Vegas, win hundreds of thousands, come back home, life was grand, party time. They'd fly to Vegas a month later, lose hundreds of thousands, come back and they were broke. That
Right.
was her childhood, okay? She graduates, she gets out of the house, graduates from college, starts building money for retirement. And through some bad decisions and market corrections, she loses all of her retirement money twice.
Mhm.
That's the time she said, time out, time out. There's got to be a better way. So she went to
Mhm.
school, became a financial advisor, learned safe money strategies, and now she helps retirees with those strategies, right? And we said,
Right.
Roz, time out. That's it. And she looked at me with that deer in the headlights look like, what are you talking about, Michael? I said, here is your point of differentiation. This is how we're going to brand you through your book. And what we did, I hope you can see this. Her
Yes.
book is Don't Gamble with Your Retirement, right? No risk strategies for a secure future. That is that resonates with Roz's story, but
Mhm.
it's also the same message that resonates with her audience because they're too old to gamble.
Right.
And that is a message that nobody else in her market can tell because she has the story to tell with it. So we've
Mhm.
tell her story in all of her marketing and branding. She's now hammering one message.
Yeah.
I help you never gamble with your retirement. I assure you, you'll never lose a penny. All of that, because that's not what all of her competitors are talking about. So it
Exactly.
allows her. Have you ever been to you like amusement parks like Disney?
Mhm.
Okay, Disney has that fast pass thingamajigger that you
Yep.
buy, and it takes you from 38th in line to first in line.
Yes.
Right? That's really cool, right? That's what happens when you publish your book. Is it gets you to the front of the line. That's what happened to me. It got me in front of all the media reps and ad agencies that were banging on your door to sell you stuff.
Mhm.
I walked right to the front of the line. You welcomed me in. You listened to what I said because I was an expert. In our
Right.
culture, experts have books. It's just how the mind thinks, right? So exactly what you're talking about. When you have now, obviously mine's in a book. Could you do this without creating a book? Well, absolutely. If you have a clear, compelling message that resonates with your audience and really comes from your background. And
Mhm.
it could be gambling, it could be sailing, it could be pharmaceutical. It doesn't matter. Maybe
Right.
you're a soccer mom. I don't know. But you've got a story. Are you telling your story to captivate the attention of your audience so that they'll be converted from a browser on your website into a lead, into a prospect, into a client, into a referral, all because they're connecting with you at a heart level? That is credibility.
Yeah.
Does that
That
make sense?
Oh, that yes, absolutely, 100%. That's amazing. And it's surprising when we talk about brand story and we talk about message, how so many people don't understand how important it really is. Um, you were telling me the other day about your net profit CEO. Tell me that
Yes.
story, or tell the audience about that story again.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got to run a coaching program as well to help people develop a crystal clear message. And so one of my members, he's a um, uh, fractional chief financial officer for attorneys.
Hmm.
Okay. So his company was called like Financial Clarity LLC.com or something like that. And the beautiful thing about my job, Leanne, is I get to tell business owners that they're stupid. They're idiots. They're dumb. All in love, right? Because I told him, I said, Brian, that's not a good name. Who puts the LLC in their name anymore, right? Nobody. So stop. And for we walk through, and he gets financial clarity for his clients. That's where he was hung up. He's like, well, I give them financial clarity so they can make good decisions. And through our coaching program, we all dove into it and said, yeah, but is that really what they want?
Hmm.
Okay. Um, Remind me of the drill bit when I'm done here.
Okay.
So we said, Ryan, is that really what they want? Do they want financial clarity? Not really. They do, but what they really want is more net profit. And
Right.
because he has this unique 9-number system, he can drive more net profit because he can see where they're wasting money.
Hmm.
And we came up with this entirely new name for his company, a new DBA called Net Profit CFO. And actually, the domains were available, so he bought them all. And now he is Ryan Kimler. He is the Net Profit CFO. And it positions him so uniquely, and it captures the attention of his audience because that's really what they're paying for. They want more net profit.
Right.
And so it was sitting there all the time, but he could never see it, right? Because you need somebody from the outside looking into your business and asking questions and trying to understand what is it that your client is actually paying for.
Right.
Takes me to the drill bit. Let me talk about that, then you can ask more questions. Last year, Black and Decker made millions of quarter-inch drill bits.
Hmm.
Okay, they're in all kinds of sets and things, and they've sold millions of quarter-inch drill bits. And there was some research done, Leanne, that showed and proved that of all the drill bits that were sold, not one person who bought the drill bit wanted to own a quarter-inch drill bit.
Wow.
What they wanted was a quarter-inch hole.
Very true.
Okay. Black and Decker wants to tell you about the steel they use in the drill bit. The people who've been making drill bits for centuries. How great they are at making drill bits. All of that falls into the category of who cares? I want a quarter-inch hole. Can you get me one of those? I'll pay you the money. Okay. Financial advising. I tell financial advisors all day, every day, nobody wants to buy life insurance or an annuity. I want what those will bring me.
Yes.
Talk in terms of that transformation. And Leanne, I don't care if my coffee cup could get me that kind of security for my family. I'll buy the coffee mug.
Hmm.
I don't care what it is. But too many advisors get hung up on, well, this annuity does this, or this thing does this, or this gets. I want to know that you know, and that I can trust you, Leanne, to take me where I want to go. And I'm going to trust that whatever you bring to the table is the right thing for me because I have confidence in you, Leanne.
Yeah.
That's where the game changes.
That's amazing. I love it. So you help individuals write a book without having to actually write any words.
Absolutely.
And I know for myself, writing a book has always been something that's been in the back of my mind, but I kind of kept pushing it off because I was feeling like, oh my gosh, it's so much work. I'm a numbers person. I'm not an author. Who am I to start trying to, write a book that's going to be interesting enough for people to want to read? So for
Mhm.
those women that are out there feeling like I feel, tell me what you do to help us.
Yeah, that's a great thank you. I tell people all day, every day, never write a book. You should always speak to write your book. Okay. Now, I'll tell you a couple things. We have a team of writers. We have a whole staff of writers, and our contention is, Lan, you're an expert at what you do,
Mhm.
and you can talk about what you do all day long. Our job is to get that content out of your head and onto paper in a way that is compelling and clear and easy to understand. That's our job. So
Mhm.
if you can come to a few Zoom calls, you're going to work with one of our writers, and they're just after we get your brand strategy figured out, right?
Mhm.
Then we're going to use that as the direction for your book, and then we're going to build the outline for you and with you to say, okay, what is it that people are struggling with? What are the questions your clients ask you all of the time? Do you have a unique process that you walk people through? Okay, um, love him or hate him, Dave Ramsey, right? 7
Mhm.
baby steps. That's a
Mhm.
process.
Yeah.
If you have anything like that, then that's pretty much the core of your book. And then you're just talking about each one of those, weaving your story into it, sharing stories of how you help people, but you're not typing it, you're speaking it. And then we record it, we transcribe it, and then your writer who's been with you this whole time, now they know who you are and how you function and how you speak. They're going to write your book. They're the ones doing the typing,
Yeah.
but it's in your words, it's in your voice, it's in your tone, it's your message because it's not my book, Leanne, it's yours. We're invisible in the background. We're just bringing you to the table, getting the content. So we do everything to get your book published except the content. And we're going to draw that out of you through questions. Just like it's a dialogue just like this. And what
Right.
the cool thing is, we've done this for so long. We've got it dialed in now that it takes our client, if you follow our process, it'll take you less than 24 clock hours of your time over about 7 to 8 months of our time to get your book from where it is today, which is in your head, to publish to Amazon, Kindle, PDF, paperback, become an Amazon bestseller. And then we've got programs to create podcasts and audiobooks and all. If you want those, we can do that. But our core focus is to position you as the expert in your audience's mind by helping you create your book without writing a word. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. So you are telling me that in order for myself or any of the women in the group that we're talking to today, if we want to put a book out there and build our credibility with that book, all we have to do is engage your team and go through some Zoom sessions, and you essentially take care of the rest.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, you'll do the Zoom sessions to get us the content. Our writer will write it. You're always involved in reviewing what we're writing. We're
Mhm.
always getting you're always involved, right? I just had a cover call with one of my clients, and that's
Mhm.
where we talk about the design of the cover and the title and the subtitle and the back cover text. We do all of that, but you're totally invested because it's your book. So yeah,
Right.
we do everything. You show up on some calls, and pretty soon you're going to wake up being an Amazon best-selling author, and then the magic really starts to happen. Because here's one of the myths that I'd really like to explode: is that you write your book, Leanne, and you
Mhm.
put it on Amazon, and the floodgates open, and the world's going to beat a path to your door. It just doesn't work that way. There,
No.
you know,
No.
being an author separates you, but you have to know how to market your
Mhm.
authority, your credibility. And the other thing is, it's not like you're writing a book like, you're not the next Simon Sinek, okay?
Mhm.
What you don't need that big of an audience. You have an audience. If you had an audience of 400 people
Mhm.
who knew you, loved you, could refer you to other people, you would be so busy, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself, right?
Right.
So it's not about, I need more leads, I need more leads, I need more leads, I need more leads. Yeah, you need leads, but what are you doing with the leads you're getting? How are you getting referrals from your best clients, right? Take a book and let's say you just set up my retirement plan, Leanne.
Mhm.
Okay? I've come to you, you've worked with me, you've set up my retirement plan, I'm loving it. You're getting ready to walk me out the door, or I'm getting ready to walk you out the door. Let's switch roles. I'm the financial guy, you're my client. Leanne, thank you so much for the trust you placed in us. I'm really glad we've got this plan set up for you, that you're going to be safe for life, blah, blah, right? Would you do me a favor, Leanne? You're always
Sure.
going to say yes because you're at a peak great point, right? Leanne, I don't know if you know this or not, but most of my clients don't come from all the advertising we do everywhere. They come from our happy clients telling others about us. And it would really mean a lot to me, Leanne, if you would take like 3 or 4 copies of my book, and in the next week or 2 or 3, as you're talking with your friends at the club, at church, wherever, would you just hand them a copy of my book and say, wow, our retirement's set, and well, here's the person we worked with. You should just read his book. Would you do that for me, Leanne? That'd mean a lot to me.
I have to tell you, that is such a cool way to get referrals. And I know with messaging and chatting with the women in the group here that even though 91% of clients would give a referral, only 11% of advisors ask.
Yes.
And maybe it's like the fear of them saying no, or, a lack of confidence or some self doubt. But having something physical like a book to give to them where it's more of a lean back
Yeah.
type of approach, that's really cool. I love that.
It is. It is. Let me tell you more stories. This is good. I love stories. I mean, all right. So, a financial advisor client of mine, Brad, he lives in Branson, Missouri area. Okay, big retirement community. He does retirement planning. He wrote his first book with me in 2014, and he just came back and wrote his second book with me.
Wow.
He Now he's on radio. He's got a radio program,
Hmm.
and he's got his book. His call to action on his radio program is get a free copy of my book. That's it. People call in, say, yeah, I'd like to have a copy of that. He signs it. He mails it to them. They read his book.
Hmm.
They set an appointment with him. They walk into his office a week or two later. His book is in their hands. It is dog-eared highlight. They've got sticky notes. They're like, okay, I've got questions here. But here's the deal. They've read it, and they already know his story of why he does what he does. They
Hmm.
understand who he is, how he helps people, and all that. He preconditions people to hire him before that first meeting because they've read his book. When you put a book in somebody's hand, it's like having a 2 or 3 hour conversation with somebody because
Hmm.
we read books one-on-one, right? I
Hmm.
sit on the couch on the weekends, or I go to a coffee shop and I'm reading your book, and we are having a conversation.
Right.
And so that's what he does. And so these clients come to him. All right, I'm not in your industry, so I don't know all the numbers, but he sent me this email last week. This was April 8th. April 8th. Note. He says, hey, Michael, I've opened 17 financial accounts for clients since April 1st. These are probably annuities. 17 since April 1st. That was in 8 days. And I still have 3 more client appointments today. It's
Wow.
crazy now. Okay. His production has multiplied every year because he's been consistent with his message, and he's put his book into the hands of people. Now, here's the cool part. He sent me an email a couple years ago. He was finishing his fifth record year in a row.
Hmm.
He's done 2 since then. And he said, I just finished, it was late December. He's like, I just had 2 new clients come in. They heard my radio program. I mailed my book to them. They walked in, they signed the papers. And before they left, they said, hey, could we get a couple more copies of your book to hand out to our sons and our friends at work? And Brad says, yes, would you like 5 or 10? Literally, he's given away probably 1,400 books.
That's
over the
amazing.
last few years. And he told me, he's like, probably 300 or 400 of those have become clients.
Mhm.
He's like, do the math, DeLon. The commissions he's getting from just that have multiplied his return on investment 30 to 40 times what he invested in the books. These are his words, not mine.
Wow.
And it's because he has a consistent message that resonates with his audience. He
Mhm.
puts his book in their hand to let them read it. When they're ready, they schedule an appointment with him,
Mhm.
precondition that Brad's the guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to sell them anything. He has to navigate them to make sure, everything's right, but that's what he does. And then they ask for referral. They ask for copies of his book because they love his book. This isn't rocket science, Leanne. It really isn't. But Brad is positioned as, in his market, he is the safe money guy. That
Mhm.
is his message in that market. Your audience, every one of them, they have a message like that.
Yeah.
That if they would just camp on that message, whether
Mhm.
it's through a book, a podcast, a video, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Keep one message crystal clear that resonates with your audience. Make sure you're thinking about the whole and not the drill bit,
Mhm.
and get them engaged. And what you're going to find is people are going to start coming to you and referring you because, yes, they know, like, and trust you, but because they have confidence in the credibility you have. So just some stories about how this actually works in practical ways.
Right, right. That is super exciting. So tell me, for the ladies that are out there that maybe they're a little bit newer to the industry, or they're, not in a position yet to make the investment to actually publish a book, what is their next step that they can take to really refine and put together the messaging that they need?
Yeah, great question. Couple different options. So one, we have a coaching program that can help them with that if they, and it's much less than a book.
Mhm.
Um, we also have a free book. We call it book writing boot camp.
Mhm.
So it's an entire process that will take you through exactly how we create books for clients, and you go through it for free. It's an email based course that's on our website. The other thing you can do is on my website, paperbackexpert.com is where it is. Right above the video that's there on the front, there's a big red sentence.
Mhm.
It says something like, um, find your credibility score in less than 5 minutes. So we talk a lot about credibility, but what is
Yeah.
it really?
Yeah.
So we created a credibility calculator. Okay, you have a credit score that
Mhm.
you work to improve.
Yeah.
You also have a credibility score
Mhm.
that you can work to improve. So if you go to my website, click that. It's in under 5 minutes by answering 20 questions. We will give you your credibility score. It's a 0 to 100 score, and then 5 videos, 5 sessions to help you improve that. And one of those lessons has a link to our brand strategy questionnaire that you'll get to ask. We'll ask you those 8 questions. You hit submit. We deliver the answers to you. Why is that important? Because what I want you to do is do that. And then the answers, read through those answers, and you're going to find themes come up, right?
Mhm.
Might not be gambling, but it could be themes from your life that, you were a cheerleader, or you played soccer, or you love macrame, or whatever it is. Those themes you can start looking at and saying, how does that tie into what I do? A lot of times the business owner themselves are going to struggle with figuring that out. So I
Mhm.
always say, grab a couple girlfriends, go out for some coffee or whatever y'all drink, and and have them review that, have them ask you questions of your background and why do you do what you do?
Mhm.
You could be doing a dozen different things with your life. Why do you do this?
Right.
And record it all on your phone or your laptop. And what you're going to find is you've got some passions there that you're probably not using in your business that can tie into your messaging in a
Mhm.
very unique way that will cause your audience to start moving toward you.
Right.
That's the beginning point. We always start with message
Mhm.
because I know, Leanne, what matters most is what you say.
Yes.
What matters least is where you say it.
Mhm.
Okay?
Mhm.
You get the right message, your audience is everywhere. Okay? Find the right message that's distinctly and uniquely you, and then figure out if you're going to do a book or a podcast or a video or whatever you are.
Right.
Always start first with the message. And that's how we could help you is take the credibility calculator. You'll get our 8 questions, answer them, take some girls out for coffee, have them ask you questions, record it all, listen back to it, look for themes from your life, connect that theme with what you're doing in your audience. And that's a great start. You'll be so far ahead of everybody else.
That's awesome. No, that's great advice and very, very practical too.
Yeah,
And
it
something,
is.
we all like to get together with our friends and have good discussions. So that's really,
Well,
you know,
all right. No, seriously, you have lots of friends. You have all these girlfriends. Do they really know your story? Do they know your backstory? Most of my friends don't know I've been in prison, right? They don't understand that I struggled in the early years of my marriage because they know me now,
right.
right? But to take them out and say, can I tell you my story? They're going to go, I never knew that. Really? And so it's going to spawn some other conversations. And I think you're going to find that you have a much more compelling message than you're giving yourself credit for.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree. Let's go to the audience. Are there any questions out there? I know there's a few of you listening in and watching. Does anybody have any questions? If you're here, post a comment below.
I have a great way of making people not want to ask questions.
No, it doesn't look like we've got
Okay.
any questions coming in, Michael. Is there anything else that you think the women should know?
Yeah, absolutely. My website. No. Um, take your business, take your entire marketing and put the human element back into it. Okay. So
Mhm.
for instance, how do you say thank you to prospects and clients? Do you say thank you? Right? Most of us say, hey, thanks for meeting with me today. Have a great day. Boom, and we're done.
Mhm.
Shame on you. I've got a 4-step thank you process that I teach, and it's saying thank you here. When
Okay.
I'm done, do you ever use Loom? Loom?
All the
Leanne?
time.
All the time. Loom. I use it all the time. I will Loom Leanne a video after this and saying, Leanne, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It was so much fun to be there. I hope what I shared was valuable to your audience. Let's definitely stay in touch. Okay. Take care.
Mhm.
Have a good day. I will do that. Then I will actually go over here and I'll pull out a print thank you note and I will write a thank you to Leanne and I will fold it and stamp it and put it in the mailbox. And then because I've built systems, in about a week or so, Leanne's going to get a gift in the mail from me, thanking her for having me on her podcast. Okay. I do that with podcast hosts. I do that with prospects. I do that with clients. I do that with our team. I do that with mavens. I have one system that I use in 5 or 6 different ways to show appreciation to the people who are important to me. Let me ask you a question, Leanne. How many other people do you think are doing that?
Not
Not many.
many. Not many.
How many people do you think of Michael every month when they get a food item in the mail or when they look up in their kitchen and see a cutting board that I've mailed to them, or they get my print newsletter every month? It's doing marketing in a different way to build relationships and become what I call a household name.
Yes.
When I come to your house, so my house has 2 entrances. Okay. I've got the front door, which is for guests, and I've got the side door through the garage, which is for family. And so on Sunday, we had our community group come over, and one family was kind of early, and we opened the garage door, pulled in from church, got out, and we said, hey, come this way. You're family. They got to go through the family entrance. You want to be family.
Yeah.
Market yourself in different ways. So my whole thank you process is part of my marketing, right? Because it's building relationships, staying top of mind so that when one of your Lux ladies reaches out and says, hey, Leanne, I've been thinking about writing this book, Leanne's going to go, I know exactly who you need to talk
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
That's why we do these things, besides the fact that we just love doing them. But it's bringing yourself to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I struggled, Leanne. I've been doing this for a decade. I struggled for the first 5 or 6 years, and I tried to be the person that I thought you wanted me to be. right? So I
Right.
had a certain attire and I spoke a certain way, and I avoided video for a long time because I could never get it just right, and I'd always stumble, and it had to be
Mhm.
perfect. And I finally 2 or 3 years ago just went, we're giving that stuff up, and I just became me. And I realized that this is me. And if you like me, great, let's talk. Let's do business. And if you don't like me, great, let's not do business because it'll struggle for both of us, right? But when I became me and I just put me out there, it's like, this is me. Take me or leave me. It reduced all the stress in my life. I'm
Yeah.
not sure my sales conversations aren't. They're just conversations. And if I can help you, I'll tell you what I can do for you. But if I can connect you with somebody else who's better fit, I'll do that. And if we're
Mhm.
not a good fit, I'll tell you. It doesn't matter to me. That has changed everything. So the
Yeah.
the the point out of all that is be yourself.
Yeah.
I want to know who you are. And if we resonate and connect, then we're going to have a long relationship doing whatever. And I may never become your client on a financial basis. And I think that's one of the things that scares people. Well, if I meet with them and they say no, then our friendship's broken. No, it's not. I'm still going to refer people to you because I may be with a different person that I know is not a good fit for that person, right?
Right. Right.
Or I may be with a financial person who maybe isn't doing a great job and I'm thinking about changing, but I talk to a lot of people who need what you do. So I'm happy to connect them with you because I'm not sending them my guy, right?
Right.
So it's not you're not going to break any relationships. You're going to have conversations. Say, here's what I do. If you ever think of anybody I could ever serve in any way, would
Mhm.
you just give me the opportunity to share with them what I do? And if they work with me, great. If they don't, great. Because now you're positioning yourself as a giver, as a
Yes.
servant, as a
Mhm.
resource.
Right.
And that's going to do more for your business than anything.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much for that. Um, all right. So we've got lots of comments here
Well,
now.
good.
Um, how do we learn more about your coaching program and to start the process?
I love that question. Yeah. Um, paperbackexpert.com is our website. Everything you need to know about me is there. Scroll down to the bottom on the right hand side. There's a thing about the coaching program. Click that. It'll show you a quick video. You can schedule a call with me. Our next program actually starts next Tuesday. So if you
I'll be
want in,
there. I'll
yeah,
be there.
Leanne's going to be there. So if you want to be with Leanne and us in that coaching program, you can always send me an email directly, michael@paperbackexpert.com. But if you go to our website, go to the coaching icon and click there. We've got everything that you need there. And we'll have a conversation to explain more about it and the investment and all of that and what it's going to be. And to again, see if you're a good fit for the program, see if we're going to deliver what you need. So
Mhm.
paperbackexpert.com is the place to go. And that's where you'll find any information about coaching program. I've got a lot of free resources there for you, trainings we've done, the book writing book camps, everything to get a hold of me is at paperbackexpert.com. Great question. Would love to talk with you about coaching and how we can help you there.
Awesome. So Shelley, I hope that answers your question. Laura, is there a change with how digital books are being accepted versus the physical book?
It's really interesting. I get that a lot. And it's from a consumer standpoint, it's about 50-50. Okay. My daughter wants me to read a book and she's like, it's only in Kindle. I said, I'm not going to read it. I don't read ebooks. It's just I like this, right? My wife reads a lot of both. Here's the real question that you have to answer though. All right, so we publish your book in paperback and in Kindle and in PDF because you want it on your website for downloads, right? What's the purpose of your book? It's to put it in the hands of people and get them hopefully to read it, right? Leanne, another trick question. How many ebooks are on your computer, Leanne, and where are they? Okay. Yeah. I don't I don't want you only to have an ebook. Now, there's a point for an ebook, and that is to get somebody on your list.
Mm-hmm.
Your list is your number one asset in your business. So having an ebook only to get them on your list is great. Now you can communicate and educate with them. Okay. But just publishing a book in ebook format, you're going to get lost on the Kindles and on the right. Put
Mm-hmm.
this in somebody's hand. They'll have it for life because it is sacrilegious in our culture to throw a book away. You
Mm-hmm.
move it from house to house and office to office.
Yeah.
And especially when you sign it to somebody personally, they'll never throw it away. And
So,
it's a lot easier to hand a physical book to somebody to get a referral than to send them a link to a Kindle. So the readership of paperback physical books is always going to be there. People are still going to read Kindles and electronic versions. Some people like audiobooks. We offer all of that. But you have to pull it back to say, what's the purpose of what you're doing? What is the strategy? That's where it always starts. And even those who have audiobooks, they have physical books and ebooks, right? What's the point? The point is to get somebody on your list so you can build that relationship, become top of mind.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you, Laura. I hope that answers your question. Okay, last call for any questions. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much, Michael, for taking the time to be here with us.
You're welcome.
So if anyone wants any more information about what Michael does or how he can help you, go to paperbackexpert.com. All of the information will be there for you. Yes, and if you need any further information, I'm always here to help as well. So thanks again, Michael. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Leanna. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you and the group that you've put together. I hope what I've shared has been helpful.
It's been great, and I'll see you on Tuesday.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. Bye for now.